Alright, boys and girls, welcome back to hot and humid Oklahoma. In the middle of the day, where it, as of late, has not stopped raining. So, you know, I guess we're a little more tropical than we used to be now. But today, we're going to talk about the old RSV4 here. Now that we're past the Jeep. So hopefully you guys just watched the rollers that we got of this thing, assuming Future Dong decided to edit it, and I should have. And if you liked it, like and subscribe, man, because you know, it's not that it's that hard to do that stuff, but you know, you gotta, it takes more, right? So if you appreciate the effort, hit that subscribe button. And if I didn't put it, and I'm just talking about something that doesn't exist, you should just dislike this thing, man, because that means I was lazy, and I deserve it. But today, we're going to talk about what I like and dislike about this RSV4, because I've got a little over 400 miles on it now. This will probably be the last video you see before the break-in. And after that, we'll really just be waiting on the tunes, so I can put an exhaust on this thing, because man, that factory exhaust drives me nuts, man. It sucks. It sounds like, for arguably the best sounding bike in the world, or one of the best sounding bikes in the world, it is a crime to have what is on this thing. So today I want to talk about my likes and dislikes of this bike. Short version, I love it, but there are some things that I don't particularly care for, or misses that Aprilia has. You know, it's not perfect, right? What bike is? But we'll go over what I found that I dislike about it, and then we'll go over what I really like about it and what I love about it. So stick around, and we'll go through it. Today we're having a lake day, boys, if you can't tell. Looking for some nice shade. This looks good. Only one piece, 2 pieces of trash. Not bad. Alright, so first off, let's just take it all in. RSV4, man. Overall, wonderful bike. You can see I've been busy upgrading. Little bits and pieces. Got the carbon front fender right there. Got the brake cooling ducts. See a bug I splattered? Those are from the 2024. All those parts fit. So we're all good there. Got the lever guard. Now this is something where it's a little different. It is a 24 lever guard, 24 fit, but the The clip-ons on these are kind of weird, or at least I've never dealt with them. It's a threaded insert. And so anyway, the RSV4 one is too shallow. It won't go in deep enough. It ends up pinching the throttle. So you had to get the insert for the V100. And then these fit right up, all good. And then around the back, we got the carbon fender. Same deal, from the 24, fits right up, good to go. And then the Litec gas cap, also from the 24. These are a little weird. Again, an Aprilia thing. Like the BMWs, you just unscrew it, take it off, and whereas I had to disassemble the Aprilia cap and use maybe 2/3 of that cap and attach it, because this is basically just a faceplate. But again, worked, bolted right up, we're all good. And so I wanted to start off, let's start off with what I don't like about this bike, like what gets a thumbs down. And there's a few things, really just because I'm looking at it. The brake master, not a fan. It's very, very numb feeling. It's very bland, like it isn't sharp at all. And part of it is I have, of course, the Cordas on all my bikes now, so obviously like that's just going to be better. But even thinking back to the Nissan Master on the BMWs, it was better. This is just not a good Master. It's not braking ability, right? Like the high pure calibers are good to go. Rear brakes, whatever, no matter what you do, really. So it's this Master. If I was to change, like if I could change one thing on this bike at this point, it would be this, besides the tune and exhaust. And a couple other things. You know what? It would be on the list. So while we're over here, there's a few other things. The lack of the belly pan, which I'm assuming is because of that catalytic right there. I get it, but the fairings also changed. So I'm hoping aftermarket I'll be able to, fill that space down there, because I do like the belly pan, but that's cosmetic and that's me. Maybe it's not you. The other thing is the decals, except on the tank, are not clear coated. And so I've already seen, now I haven't seen this on the factory, but I have seen issues of people with 25s, 26s, depending on where you live, where these are peeling and these are coming off, and that's not good. So I think some people actually already have warranty claims in on that. So something to think about. The tail is not clear coated. Frame, fairings, all of that is not clear coated. Only the tank. So take that for what you will. It's just information. I don't like it, but it is what it is, man. Just something to keep in mind. So let's go over here. Another thing I don't like is the cruise control activation. It's weird. It's not intuitive. Like, again, I'm referencing BMWs, but they're common and I know them well. So BMWs, you push it over, it arms it, and then you just press it, right? And it's on. And then you can go up and down on the speed using that. This, you gotta, and again, it's not, there's a lot of weird ways. It's just kind of loosey-goosey feeling, like it clicks, but to activate it, so like if you just do this, it's not going to activate it. So it's just weird. I don't like it. I think that's a miss on this bike. I am glad it has cruise control, but again, for your info, it works fine. I just don't like how it activates. So I wanted to go into the menus a little bit, but my other dislike is the kind of lack of screen layouts. Like as far as street, getting the speedometer, tachometer, like this sort of info, this is all you get, right? So if we go into the menu, you got race 1 and race 2, and you can kind of see an example of what that'll look like, or at least the tach. So let's say go to race 1. Now I like this tachometer better, but it's now giving you all the lap info, the track info, and it's very obvious and big, which if you're at the track is great. But, I wish you could either modify this, or there was a variation of this for the street where, for example, your speed's right there, and just that sort of stuff. Like it's a nitpick at this point, but I think they could have done better with the screen layouts. I'll go ahead and show you the other one just so you get an idea. And so that's the other one, same deal. You could have the speed somewhere in there, and I do like that tachometer better, because again, I'm not in love with this screen. It works, but I wish the nits on the screen were brighter too. When you're in bright sun, this can be hard to see through like a tinted visor. You can see it, but it's not perfect. Like the BMWs are way brighter. Man, it is a nice day. It's a little warm, a little humid, but water always makes it better. I just wish people weren't such little piggies. So now I guess we're gonna hop back on the bike, and I'm gonna talk about what I like, because there's a lot of stuff to like about this bike. None of that other stuff is a deal breaker for me, because it doesn't take away from what the bike is, right? And that's a really impressive machine. But again, if any of that really bugs you, well, there you go, man. You know, good to know. Oh, and the other thing I added, the WRS windscreen. I don't know how I forgot that. But the tinted, man, it changes the look of this thing. Looks good. I want to lose the mirrors. Again, there aren't block-offs available yet. I've seen some guys in Europe. Aprilia must have produced some, but my dealer can't get them. And none of the RSV4 shops in the US can find them. Like, I can't even get a part number. But the shape is different. And I was talking with AF1, and they're like, the 24s will mount up because the mounting is the same, but Aprilia just changed the shape. And they said for no reason. Like, that was pretty much their exact quote was, we don't know why they did that, they just did it. So I guess that's another dislike, is really just the things that Aprilia changed that they didn't need to on the 26, because everybody loves backwards compatibility, right? Like, especially if you already own an RSV4. It's really cool if you could just slap most of the stuff that you spent all that money on and put it on the bike, but it is what it is. Now, you know what? Actually, before we go, I want to show you guys into the menu here, because the suspension is really impressive. At least to me. You know, in theory, it's undersprung for me, and it is. You know, it isn't ideal, but they work some black magic with this stuff. Brake support's kind of cool, especially if you're a bigger dude. You can pump that up. That way, you know, it just doesn't dive quite as much. I don't know if it just adds compression on the fly or necessarily what it does, but it does work. But sticking with the active, you get more options on the sport and the track active options. So again, we got front, rear, steering dampening, brake support, but acceleration support is really cool. Again, I think it adds compression in the rear and maybe adds rebound in the front. I'm not really sure, but you know, you can see the picture there, what's going on. Mid-corner support, that's another one. So, you know, again, in the corner, it will tighten up the suspension on the fly. And so that's really cool. You know, this just goes way beyond your normal compression and dampening, and it's a good system, man. This bike is locked in. I'll try and throw in some clips. I found a road with some good sweepers. It's you know, 30 miles from here, but I went there, and man, I was cooking on some of those corners, and my confidence on this bike and just the way it handles things is incredible. And I mean that, like, it's better than my other bikes, or at least, you know, I just feel more comfortable on this bike. I really do. All right, let's get out of here for real. Always lovely to have sand around here. Geese. I hate you all. 51st state. Squirrel. Well, daily dose of wildlife. We harass some foreigners. It's a good day. So what are my likes on this bike? I touched on them a little bit back there, talking about taking it to some corners. This thing is sharp, man. I mean, I would say it feels sharper than my Ducati, that V4R. And it may not be, I just may be more comfortable on this bike, but how quickly I became comfortable on this thing, I think is a testament to how good of a bike that Aprilia has made. Because I think this has all the benefits of a Ducati, but it doesn't burn the crap out of you. And you don't have to ride it angry. It's a lot more agreeable. Which, I love bikes that are agreeable, man. That's why I love the Beamers. Agreeable motorcycles are good motorcycles. But, you know, I love the Ducatis too. It's just they're more of a certain case use, to me anyway. You know, I have to be really wanting to do specific stuff if I'm taking out the Ducati. I'll get on it a little bit here. quick, man. I have found the dead spot, and it's about between 9,000 and 11,000 RPM. Because at 11,000, man, this thing comes on like a freight train. It pulls hard. So another thing I really like about this bike, besides the screen layouts, is the electronics are very good on this thing. The suspension especially, I already touched on that a little bit back there, but it is excellent. It is very, very, very good. And it's only Öhlins 2.0. You know, they have 3.0 out now. And again, I think Aprilia works some juju, because it is stellar. Like, I think it's to the point Aprilia was like, we don't need the 3.0. I might be coping a little bit for Aprilia, because I'd always love some 3.0. I'd like the newest version of anything on a bike if it's a new bike, right? But I don't feel like I'm missing out on anything. You know, it feels real good. And I'm not an electronic suspension guy. I've talked about it in other videos, especially the BMW electronic suspension. Sorry guys, I think it's garbage, personally. I've resprung. It's okay. I'll be a little less mean. It's not garbage, but it's not top tier suspension either. It's serviceable, right? Mr. Policeman kept going. Oh man. My strategy with cops is, if you're going a little too fast and you know it, stay going that too fast, because then you kind of add that reasonable doubt that maybe you aren't intentionally doing it, because if you start slowing down, they know that you know, right? But back to the handling on this thing, just how it wants to dive into corners. It's just so, it doesn't feel like you're trying to really push it in any direction. Like, it's just happy to do whatever you want it to. Like, for example, I went and rode my M1000 RR for the first time in a few weeks, because I've just been pretty much riding this exclusively. I went and rode the MRR, and I took it on that same kind of windy road, and the M1000 felt like a barge, man. Like, I mean that. Like, the way it wanted to tip, it just felt like a big old cruise ship. And it's not that I think the M1000 is any less capable. It's just how the bike feels, particularly to me. And again, maybe I just found my unicorn with this bike. That's entirely possible too. Like, just something about it, the geometry and how it's set up and all that. Like, it's, maybe it's just for me. But I love that MRR, man. It's just, it's so odd to feel the difference between these two bikes. It's just kind of fascinating to me, man. The more different bikes that I ride, just how different they can be, different personalities and all that, So again, just a little side note, like, this thing is just, I stand by my original comment on the original video. This thing is a weapon. Let's talk about the rider position, the seating position, because I got a few questions about that. And, initial impressions are kind of tough sometimes, because you aren't fatigued and you haven't been on the bike for a while, and, you just need to be on the bike for a little bit to really get an idea. Besides, maybe feeling, the clip-ons are wider, which they are. But this Aprilia, it's definitely a very aggressive riding position. It's, if you have the race end and the comfort end, it's on the race end, for sure. I like the wide seat. The bike, it's, the butt comfort's good. The pegs are a little lower than they used to be, so the leg comfort, I'm 6'3", so it's kind of tough for me to be comfortable on any sport bike, really, without changing rear sets. But the stock rear sets are on this bike, and they feel pretty good, man. Like, I don't have leg pain or anything like that. It's more just my overall kind of body fatigue after about an hour and a half on this thing. Like, I need a break, because you are leaned over. something else I like, you know, again, back to the M1000RR. When I rode that thing after this, it felt like I was on a cruiser. Like, that thing is comfy. Like, it's actually comfy. It's probably the most comfy sport bike in existence, honestly, at least current gen. Whereas this is very racy, and I'm sure that probably contributes to maybe how it is. But, you know, another thing I noticed was as you scoot your butt back in the seat and, you know, you get against the back and it cups your booty, my legs and my knees are still very well able to grab onto the tank, and they're still kind of cupped by those ridges right here. So, like, you just feel very locked in on this motorcycle even when you're tucked. Where, again, the MRR, it's very open in the back, and so I can scoot my butt so far back that my knees can't get onto the tank anymore. And I think part of that is the BMW tank, I believe, is like a little shorter, and it's not curved, like, it's pretty flat. So it's just, again, differences in the bike itself, but it's interesting how really in any position on this bike, you're locked in. Whereas the MRR, it's not like you're gonna fly off, but like you have more freedom of movement, but you don't feel just locked in when your butt's back. At least I don't. I like to be, you know, I want to grab the tank with my knees. I want to load the pegs and do all that. And I don't feel like when my butt is back on this bike that my movement's restricted. I mean, I can move it, you know, I can put my butt on the left side, the right side, whatever, and it's not hindered. So again, I think this bike is just, the way it's set up is definitely more race oriented. And I don't say that as a good or bad thing. I say that as a so you know thing, right? Like, as people are looking for different bikes, different types, different things. In my opinion, this thing would be an incredible track bike. Like, absolutely otherworldly as far as something you can go buy off the shelf and, you know, throw a tune on and set up and take it to the track. This thing just has a heart in it, a beating heart of, let's go fast around corners, let's just go fast, man, and let's do it in a way that's just locked in. And it's pretty incredible, like, I have to say. You know, I feel like I'm kind of gushing about this bike at this point, but I am so impressed so far. Like, assuming the maintenance, you know, nothing comes and bites me in the butt, this thing, I don't know how you could really beat this bike if you're wanting an aggressive V4. Because, again, it doesn't burn you. Like, that, oh, dude, like, if I go ride the Ducati, I love the Ducati, but it's not a comfortable bike. The Ducati hurts you. You know, it's like an abusive relationship or something, man. Like it hurts me. But I love it. It doesn't mean it, and I keep coming back to it. You know? But this doesn't hurt me. And it does everything that other guy does. So, you know, this girl might be switching over. And, you know, as far as, like, around town and just city streets, again, like, it's not particularly upset about doing it. Like the Ducati, now we'll pick on Ducati a little bit now that I picked on BMW. Well, I guess I just called Ducati an abusive in a relationship, so I guess I picked on them, but we're gonna keep going. So this bike, I've had it slow around town, you know, sitting at lights. It's about 90 degrees today, has been. Relatively high humidity for here. It's been between 50 and 70% humidity. The bike hasn't overheated, hasn't burned me, and it's been fine. Does it get hot? Yeah, it does. It'll get up to, I've seen 224, and I'm really interested to see, once I get the tune, it'll do the fans sooner, and the exhaust, you know, when it just doesn't have so much heat, if that'll drop it all. But as hot as it gets, and it is a V4, they just get hot. It has not overheated, haven't had issues. Like, I'm not worried about sitting at this light. And again, it's 90 degrees, 92 right now. And we're sitting at 194, 190, like, watch, it's gonna climb. By the way, this speedometer reads really high. I need to GPS it to see how high, but I'm telling you it's at least 10%. Because when it says I'm going 90, I am not going 90, man. I am maybe going 80, maybe. Right now, we're probably going 35, something like that. And I say all that to say that, you know, we're in second gear, going realistically 35 or below. Bike's okay. You know, it didn't having any really bad issues. You can see it'll kind of start lugging around 20. Like, I would have to get into the clutch. Come on, baby, let's go. Oh yeah, back to picking on Ducati. I've been on that same road. For the Ducati to not feel like it's just really upset, I'd have to be going 70 on that road, man. Ooh, we're testing them brakes now. Another thing is this girl does drink the gasolina. There's no ifs, ands, buts about it. It is thirsty. See, we're at 212. We've been sitting. And that's hot, but, you know, it's already coming down once the fans came on. So guys, that's what I got. Let me know if you have any questions. I appreciate you watching if you made it this far. As always, like and subscribe. There will be more of this bike. I do love it. It is sticking around. And I can't wait to get some proper upgrades and exhaust and all that good stuff on it, because I think I'm in love. So anyway, guys, I'll see you later. Peace.